Welcome to Long Brothers Reviews, the show where sibling rivalry meets the cinema, as two brothers rate and debate movies, past, present, and coming soon. That is my brother Todd.
And that's my brother Mike, and today's film is Avengers Age of Ultron, starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, the usual cast of characters, and it's directed by Joss Whedon.
This week's order was decided by a 5-4 vote of the United States Supreme Court. So Todd, you're up first.
This latest Avengers movie brings Iron Man and the gang back to battle Ultron, a creature of Tony Stark's own creation, who decides that the only way to save Earth is to destroy it. The film's pretty much what you would expect. Lots of action and clever dialogue, lots of amazing special effects, lots of Scarlett Johansson in a tight leather outfit. And it lives up to its status as the big blockbuster of the season. Now, there are a couple of little issues with this film that bothered me, and we'll get into them in depth here shortly. But I'll tell you about those after I tell you that when it comes to Avengers Age of Ultron, I say see it.
And I say, I haven't seen it. I have come here to the review, and I have not seen the picture. Why, you may ask, am I still reviewing it? Well, I'm not reviewing it. I'm making a comment about it. I am tired of superhero movies, comic book movies. I know they're popular. I don't deny that they are well made and exciting, but there's only so much you can do with a comic book movie. Tell me, can you, unless you're a nerd on this stuff, and good for you, can you tell me the difference between the plot of one Superman or superhero movie versus the next? These all run together after a while. I cannot spend my time, life is too short, sitting through 2.5 hours of another iteration of the same story, the same characters, solving the same problems. I'll pass, and that's why I haven't seen it and won't.
I am tired of superhero movies that suck. The thing is, they don't all suck. What happens is you get in a rut with some of these, and they turn real bad real fast, and the franchise dies off. I think perfect example, the first Tim Burton Batman movie, where you had Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as Joker, it was a good movie. I'll still watch that when I stumble upon it on cable. But that franchise went downhill real fast. The Dark Knight trilogy, very good. I think you and I both felt that The Dark Knight was one of the best films of that year when it came out. So they can be done well. It's just when they get tired and rehash the same thing over and over again, which I'll agree with you does happen.
I agree completely that these pictures can be great, and Age of Ultron may be a great picture. They're great technically. They show off achievements that weren't possible even 10 years ago. They are all-encompassing experience. It's a great escape. This may be a fantastic picture on all those levels, but what I promise you it is not is an experience that takes you someplace emotionally, intellectually that you haven't been before. And I'm tired of movies that are simply experiences. I can handle a few of those a year, but after that I want to see something like A Most Violent Year, for instance, which we saw earlier this year, back in December. I want to see a picture where adults engage in some discussion where they tackle problems that relate to my life, and it's not just watching people blow things up.
Part of the time where these type of movies start to go off the rails, and you see a hint of that in this one, is when they start introducing things that really mean more to the diehard comic book aficionados than they do the general public. And you see that a little bit in this one. When you had the first two Avengers movie, you had Iron Man, you had Thor, Captain America, The Incredible Hulk. The average person has heard of those superheroes, might not know their backstories or like it, but has heard of them. Then you get Hawkeye and Black Widow in there who, okay, well, if you've read the comic books, you probably know who they are. And now you've got two more characters in this one, and I'm not a comic book expert, but these were two characters that I had never heard of, but apparently exist in the Marvel universe, and people who follow that keep up with it. And as this movie goes on, you are led to believe that more of these for lack of a better term, ancillary characters are going to be introduced in the next installment of this franchise, which is actually going to be broken up into 2 movies that take place over 2 years, or released over a 2-year time span. And so I think when you just start, the more of these characters you introduce, the more you start to water it down. James Spader is Ultron. And you're right, mostly all we see of him all we hear of James Spader is his voice. You don't see him. James Spader has a show on NBC, a very good show, a show that I enjoy called The Blacklist, where he played the character Raymond Reddington. The problem is, and problem might be too strong a word, this was just something that bothered me. He speaks in the same patterns and the same rhythms and even the same pitches and tones and phrasing of his sentences as his character in The Blacklist does. So at points, it's like you're watching Avengers Age of Raymond Reddington or Avengers versus The Blacklist. It's
plus
it's
an old
not,
episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Ultron's, looking for the rum raisin.
Here's a thought. It just came to me. I can't stop these great ideas. Is if James Spader were in a reboot of Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, he'd be perfect for that.
He would be great. I started to say he'd kill, but that's a poor choice of words. He would be awesome as Hannibal Lecter in a reboot. I would watch that. I'm suggesting it now. Hannibal Lecter, played by James Spader, reboot Silence of the Lambs.
Well, I don't know if we need Silence of the Lambs rebooted. I get it bothers me when we launch reboots of movies that I can remember seeing the original.
That picture is 25 years old.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that crazy? Oh, Silence of the Lambs is 25 years old. We're always surprised to learn that Gone with the Wind, made in 1985.
Oh yeah, a lot of people. Yeah.
They think it's old.
They forget that, and they also forget. Originally Courtney Cox was supposed to be Scarlet.
Yes. And who can forget 2005's The Godfather, another classic, of course.
Yeah. Oh, and then where does the time fly? 5 years ago, Birth of a Nation.
Oh, you set aside the obvious political elements that are so distasteful, but as a marker in film history, I think you can say it began with Birth of a Nation in 2010. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter if you want to find out more, or if you want to ask us about your favorite films, or if you just want to leave some random comment to let us know you watch. So until next time, I think that's your line, actually.
Okay, so until next time, that's my brother Mike.
And that is my brother Todd saying, she says it's like a city in aspic, wrapped over from a dinner party where all the guests are dead or gone.